All right, let's go. We are live, Celtics, live post game. Much, much needed dub for the Celtics after dropping a few straight. Two heartbreaking ones. I guess you could say all three of those losses in a row were terrible, but two heartbreaking ones to the Sixers there. It's nice to come out, and I don't know if this is a weird way for me to look at it, but you just whooped the ass of the team that just beat the Nets, who, you'd consider a conference rival here. I don't know. It was good to see because I don't know how. Someone's got to let me know. I don't know how that Cleveland team spanked up on the Nets because it was crazy. I'm watching that game and I'm like, this team just isn't it. But yeah, good win for the Celtics. Good to see Jaylen Brown going off. Good to see him go off in 19 minutes for what he went off. We'll check in with the box score in just a little bit. But yeah, the Celtics 141 to 103, 141 points. I think they dropped 60. I forget what it was, but they beat their halftime record or whatever. Whew. That's what we like to see. All right, it's been tough to come on here and talk live. Come on here live and talk Celtics after the past few games. I like coming on here, even if it's kind of like a moot point game, with conference championships going on in football on a Sunday. I like that we can come on here and at least react to a dub. So yeah, it's good to see. Let's jump to some of the box score here. So yeah, like I said, 141 to 103 win for the Celts. Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown, I don't know if you can say that he's getting better anymore, or is he just at that better level? If Jaylen Brown's still getting better, what the hell are we expecting? What are we going to get if Jaylen Brown is still getting better? You know what I mean? I think he is. I'm sure he's not nearly at his peak or his prime or anything, but oh my God. This guy is unbelievable. 33 points in 19 minutes played. And I heard it on the broadcast. I saw it on Twitter. That's the most by any player playing under 20 minutes. And I think Paul George has the record of 37 with 20 minutes played. And Jaylen Brown just broke Kevin Durant's record of, I think it was 30 points with 19 minutes played. That's crazy to me. The fact that this kid went from a guy that they just drafted as a, NBA ready body and an above average intelligence mind. The fact that just a few years later, this is the guy that's dribbling through traffic, pulling up, fading away, hitting threes, hitting transition threes, crafty scoring around the rim. They took that athletic NBA ready body, and Jaylen Brown's turned himself into what I think we're knocking on the door of superstardom. I know it's, probably a bit of a reach right now, and we're talking about it after obviously a 33-point game in 19 minutes, but we're knocking on the damn door of superstardom. 33 points from him. The next up, it's good to see this too. Kemba Walker, 21 points, near 60% from the floor, 60% from three, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Marcus Smart, 12, 9, and 5, kind of did everything. I didn't see, there was a couple plays where I was like, Marcus is doing too much again, but Marcus Smart had some pretty damn nice plays all around this game. I don't know if we need any Marcus Smart slander after tonight, like we have been talking on the post-game stream. Daniel Tice was 17 and 6, and then Carson Edwards getting some run, 17 minutes, 55% from the floor. Only 20% from 3, so that's not that great. That's kind of why we drafted you. But 15 points from him. It's good to see him actually start doing things. But yeah, everyone pretty much got some run, and it was just an overall good win, I guess. Let's get to some of the chat here. Donovan saying Carson Edwards out of literally nowhere. Yeah, that's the thing, and we've talked about Carson Edwards kind of at length, right? We've talked about him on this stream. It's. I don't think, even after a game like this, I don't know if this solidifies Carson Edwards to ever have the ability to break into this lineup. Maybe with Pritchard out right now and Jeff Teague stinking, they're kind of forcing the hand of playing Carson Edwards. But outside of, I don't know. I love to see him do well because I do think, I've always said it, if he was on a different program, on a different team, I think Carson Edwards actually has a shot in this league, even though he's undersized and probably, actually, I guess I should say severely undersized. He does have that spark plug ability. But, I don't know. I guess we can't really talk about the negative because he did seem to play pretty well tonight. He didn't look like he was timid out there. He missed a lot of his threes, but it didn't look the same holy shit, what am I doing? And just jacking. You know what I mean? It was a good game from him. Drew says, all this to get Tatum back tomorrow. The crazy thing is that Jaylen Brown's been so good without Tatum. Does he take a step back with him? Like, it's so good to see Jaylen just absolutely blossom. That's a weird word, but it's kind of what's happening. Is he going to now take like a backseat to Tatum, which I think he probably should, right? Like, Jason Tatum's the superstar in our minds, but it's going to be a weird dynamic. And I think that we've seen already so far when they've played together this year, that's not an issue. Like, they can both go off. They've been combining for 50 points, like left and right with each other. So it's just going to be interesting to see, because Jaylen Brown's been an alpha these past few games. And I'm just curious to see. I think it's a good problem to have, so I don't want to even call it a problem. But Jaylen Brown just been like leaps and bounds above what, you know, he's been all along, and there's got to be less shots coming his way, especially because now when Jason Tatum comes back, it's going to be Tatum, Kemba, and Brown. So, you know, as a trio, I think it's going to be beautiful, but it is sad to see, you know, Jaylen Brown probably not able to just drop 30 every single game or 40. And I make that sound like it's a bad thing, but you guys know what I mean. GZ says, amazing win, and Nesmith is the GOAT. Yeah, I mean, he what was he, 5 points, 2 of 4, 1 of 3 from 3, and 5 rebounds. I mean, sadly, and this is sad, I guess, but that was the best he's looked, which it's a good thing that he's starting to look a little bit better, I guess. It's bad that it's like a 5-point night and it's the best he's looked, but I will say, he was in there and he got a fairly early run, and I don't think that he was terrible. So in previous games, right, and I've said it on the streams, I've said it on the podcast, I've said it on Twitter, he looks like he's hesitant on offense and a step short or a step behind on defense. I didn't really get that vibe. Like, I guess they're playing the Cavs, they're whooping up on him, so what? Nesmith looked all right. I'll give it to him. Owen saying, not to mention the Cavs did it to the Nets twice in a row. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, how did this damn team whoop up on those Nets? Birkin saying, Jaylen is a superstar. He's right there. I don't know how you look at these games and say, you know, all season long, it's not just tonight. You know, it's not just the 42-point night. This guy's dropping buckets all, like, constantly. Doesn't he have 2 40-plus point nights this year? Right? 27 points per game. Like, this is a... He's right there. He is right there as a superstar. Right there. I see an update. Nesmith had 11. Yeah, I think my box scores, because I just refreshed it. I think it's kind of like getting choppy here. Yeah. If you guys the box score that I showed at the beginning of the game, I think it was a little bit behind because it just refreshed on me and I'm seeing updates. Let's see. I didn't even think of this. Gear says Carson loves to go crazy against Cleveland. That was the team that he dropped. What was it? Like, I don't even remember how many, but I know they had like 30 points in 8 minutes or something. I come in summer or preseason. I completely forgot about that. Michael says Marcus, 12 points, 9 assists, 5 steals, solid stat line. That was a good game for Marcus, but isn't that the thing? Wouldn't you rather Marcus Smart do this, right? Wouldn't you rather Marcus Smart do this game or, you know, have this type of game rather than the 25 points from Marcus Smart? I think with a healthy team, you get your points elsewhere, right? And Marcus Smart having 5 steals, 9 assists, and 12 points, I think that's beautiful. Beautiful for him. How about this? Let's pop to the box score again now that we have the updated one. Look at the starting fives plus minus here. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. This strong. The starting fives plus minus all over, or I guess all in the 30s. That is absurd. So yeah, I guess the box score is just a step behind here. So Carson Edwards, a little update here, 18, and then Nesmith with 11. But yeah, that is the game from Marcus Smart that you're looking for, and you should be looking for constantly. Gear says, well, we'll get to this first. Michael says, Jaylen and Jason averaging more than Luka. Yeah, that Dallas team is off to a rocky start. Not exactly what I thought that they would be doing. I thought they were going to be a way better team. But Michael Smith, or Gear says, Carson, after posting porn on Twitter, is a whole new level. I mean, yes, it was almost like he needed to get hacked on Twitter to get to this level. Michael says, Grant took a step back this week. He moved way down the bench. All right. We got the Grant Williams sound. One more time. Grant Williams, I don't know what's up with him because, and I tweeted out, I said, somehow, even in junk time, this dude stinks. Like, he's playing against and playing with guys that just, and yet he couldn't even stand head and shoulders above them, and this guy was starting a couple games ago. I don't know what it is with him, but if you watch that game and say, oh my God, Grant Williams is still good, if you're still one of those true believers, I don't know what to tell you because it's not looking good for him. And, you know, the one point of defense I'll point out for him is that I felt like this, I think, towards, you know, same time frame last year. And by the playoffs, I think Grant Williams contributed. I'm not going to say a lot, but contributed. So maybe he's going to turn it around. But damn, he just gets out there and like 3 straight plays, gets in there, draws or causes an offensive foul, a stupid one. Then he gets the ball and literally does what you learned to do in kindergarten. You can't jump up with the ball and then land with it again. You either got to shoot it or I guess get rid of it. And he just lands. And then he stands there, drops the ball at the ref's feet and looks at him. And that's what I've said on the stream before, right? It's like, where is he getting this, like, this pompous attitude, like thinking that he's better than he is? I don't get that. But, and then he goes right down the court and then, you know, and dribbles the ball around and loses it. It's like, this guy showed so much promise. And where did that all go? Where did it? I don't know. Someone's got to figure it out because I do think if he were to become the guy that everyone wants him, the small ball center, the Draymond Green, the bigger Marcus Smart, then yeah, I think, you know, he's got a chance here. But if Grant Williams is playing like this, he's gonna slowly fade into the abyss because we don't have time to wait for our 4'1" power forward to come along here. You know, Semi Ojeley's playing better, Javonte Green's playing better, Robert Williams is back now. It's like he's gonna lose minutes, and we're seeing it right now. It's tough because I feel for him, but you know, if we had like a bar graph or bar chart or whatever of Grant Williams fans, you know, preseason. I was in this boat of, you know, I'm still kind of a Grant Williams doubter. All of a sudden, just with his play, it's like switching gears because it's what we see, the eye test. Gear says a few times they showed Turner really talking with Tatum and Jaylen. That relationship is special. That's going to be good because, you know, we always talk about, you know, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown scoring. But what's another thing that we've said we want to see or we've started to see is their passing, their facilitating, their ability to see the floor better, not just see the rim. Guy like Evan Turner, if we just flashback, 8 years? I don't know. I think that's way too much. Flashback 6 years or whatever when Evan Turner was playing here. That guy was dropping 10 assists like it was his job. Triple-double after triple-double. That's the guy that saw the floor and kind of got to his spot and made buckets. That's a good point. That's a good voice in their ear. Michael says, Carson will get some of Teague's minutes. Traymon's a bust. Yeah, I think it's tough to call Draymond I mean, I get what you mean by a bust. I'm not saying, like, you're wrong, but I think it's tough to call a guy that's drafted that late like a bust. Like, what did you want him to be? You know what I mean? So, but I do know what you mean. He's kind of a flop of a pick. Like, he's not going to turn into anything. And it's sad because I did like him in the D-League, and when he showed some talent last year, I was like, oh, this kid's got it. But when you actually have to play him, it's kind of like, yikes. And we saw that against Toronto when he started. J-Max saying Grant is ass. He looks like he's on a 3-second delay. Oh, man. Gear says Neesmith looked comfortable out there. He did. It was his best game as a Celtic. He finally looked like he was confident enough to take the shot. You know, when we watched Neesmith a couple times before, he'd get the ball and almost be like, and then just shoot it and, like, airmail it. But now it's finally like he got the ball and was like, okay, this is my shot. I'm going to take it. And then, you know, based on percentages tonight, I'm going to make it. Let's see. Sage is saying Jason Tatum's the next Kobe. Hey, let's hope. Wouldn't that be nice? You know, he worked out with him. He's got some of that mentality and some of that game in his game. Let's hope. That'd be awesome. J-Max says Carson only does good versus the Cavs games that don't matter. Gear, this is I don't know. This is a hot take that could be pretty damn correct. He says Grant has no future with this team. It's looking like that. But again, I'm going to hold on to that. Like, you know, he proved me wrong as a doubter last year because he did kind of turn it around and step it up. But we got to see. Damn. Winfred says Jalen's the next Jordan. Ray says gray hat and classic Pat's hoodie Sunday vibes. I was watching Tom earlier, watching and I didn't know what to think. I'm watching Tom Brady go to the Super Bowl and happy for Tom, but thinking, oh my God, here I am watching a crappy Pats team this year. But big time Sunday vibes. This is a Sunday vibe Celtics game too. It was like the Celtics kind of walked out there, whooped up on the Cavs, and then, you know, then left. It was good that this wasn't a stressful game because I didn't want a stressful Sunday. Last Sunday, my Sunday was ruined by the Knicks beating us. So I'm glad that this one, you know, the roles were reversed here. Michael says Kemba looked good against a solid Sexton. Yeah, that kid's been red hot. Was this the first game this year that he didn't have 20 points? Because I heard them say he's dropped 20 points in every single game this year. And by my box score, we all know my box score's already failed once this stream. My box score shows that Sexton at 13. So, damn. Did we see that? Carson's hair is coming back. Do we need the little braided dreads, Carson, for him to go off? Hey, that could be. He could be the opposite of Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum gets a cut in his top 5. Carson Edwards lets his hair grow, and he becomes playable. Winfred said I ordered that hat. This hat, once it breaks in, like it's a little tall up here, but all snapbacks kind of come like that. This hat has to be one of the cleaner ones. How often can you wear a Celtics hat with like a Patriots blue hoodie? You really can't. I mean, I can because I suck at matching plenty. But I just know that this just nice charcoal gray, it's nice. And I tweeted it out. We talked about it when I first got it, like the day of. People were tweeting back saying that hat's ass because I had that other one, the new one. People were saying it's ass, and I was like, okay. I could see who's jealous and who's not. Birkin says Tatum is Durant and Jaylen is Drexler. Sheesh, I mean, let's go. Let's go then. That is crazy to think about, that these two are so young, not even at their prime, and they're already getting to these points where they are relatively like comparable to these, you know, absolute superstars or legends. Like, I don't think that that's even a stretch. I said comparable. I'm not saying better than or right there, but like the fact that these kids are so young and theoretically or realistically or however you want to put it, you know, 3 to 4 years away from their primes, yet still playing like this. I don't know. That's crazy to me. I've said that probably a million times to myself on Twitter, on the streams, on the podcast, and every time I say it, I'm still kind of like, yikes, watch out, league. Ray says, was worried we were going to make a 40-point lead turn into a 10. Thankful for the win, but those fourth quarters get me anxious. Yeah, when they brought in Tremont and Grant, things slowed the hell down, and I was like, don't do it. We saw that against, what was it, Toronto? The bench went in because it was an ass whooping, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, geez, no, we got to bring in the starters again. And I was like, don't do that. You can't do that. You cannot do that as a bench player. You know, have these starters. Jaylen Brown thinks his night's over. He just set a record. Excuse me. I'm trying to battle through whatever's going on in here. He set a record, 33 points in 19 minutes. And then he thinks, you know, okay, I'm done. Now I can cool off. The fact that, you know, if they were to blow that and all of a sudden he's like, do I really have to go back in? I don't like that. But it didn't happen. We've seen it happen this year, but it didn't happen. So that's good. But I was worried about it too. Sage says Taco needs some time. I think so. I said this on the last stream, right? And it's kind of my my overarching take on it. I love Taco. I think when he's been playing, he's actually looked a lot better than he has in, you know, last year or even just in the past. But if you give Taco time, I think you take time away from where minutes also could be utilized, like Robert Williams. I don't know how you give Taco time without taking away from Robert Williams, because they already have the 3 centers. They're not going to work on playing 4 centers, I don't think. I mean, they could, but that is like my gut reaction is where do those Taco minutes come from? Because it's not like you can say, well, you know, he's kind of flexible. He could play the 4 or the 3. It's like, no, dude, the guy's 9'10". He's going to play center. So it is, I agree Taco needs time, and I think he shows he isn't just like a gimmick. Taco Fall's gotten better, believe it or not. If he were to get time, I think he would get better and better. I want to know where those minutes are coming from, because if they come from Time Lord or Robert Williams, like, I don't want that to be the case, because I think that kid's got some damn potential. My nose is itchy. I don't know why. Does that mean someone's talking behind your back or something when you're, I don't know. That's probably not right. Michael says, Scal had a great quote about Sexton not scoring like he did last week. Marcus Smart is not exactly Kyrie Irving on defense. I heard that too, and it is a good point. It is a good point. It's like, yeah, Sexton can go for 42 when he's playing a team that literally plays no defense, but the Celtics were going to get up in him, and they did. They did. Drew says they have, as the team, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, I guess we're talking about, has phenomenal chemistry, so it should work out. Yeah, I'm not worried about, you know, everyone that's a good problem to have. Be like, oh, well, who's going to score? Like, that's a good problem to have, you know, having Jaylen, Tatum, and Kemba all healthy. I think that's going to be nice, and really, really, like, I know I kind of alluded to it earlier and seemed like, oh, like, what's going to happen to Jaylen? I just meant, are we going to be able to get these Jaylen Brown, like, you know, constant 35 point, 40 point, 42 points, 33 points? Like, are we going to get those nights? And I think that there's a less chance of those with Tatum in the lineup. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing. I just do love seeing Jaylen Brown prove everyone that said he wasn't worth the money. I love seeing him prove them wrong every single night. Because he, is in a year's time, he's going to be one of the most valuable contracts in the NBA. It's going to be crazy. I know I'm trying to catch up on chat, guys. Gear says replant Grant with PJ Tucker. He makes us so much better. Yeah, especially if they like we've talked about it before. The second round pick, 2 second round picks, do it. Sage says trade Kemba. I don't think so. I think we've seen that Kemba is great on this team. He fits in. He scores when he needs to score, and he's also vocally and verbally said multiple times he understands his role. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown are who they are, and he's going to be sort of the safety net for this team. Sage's Taco Fall is going to be the next Kareem. Gear says, breaking news, Kemba won't play tomorrow night in Chicago per Brad Stevens. That makes sense to me. Not playing back-to-backs right now. Makes sense to me. But then we do got to wait just a little bit longer to see if Tatum Brown will all play together. Danny says, Celtics win and Brady to his 10th Super Bowl. I'm content for now. Yes, sir. Patrick saying, there it is. Gear says, if you want to know more about Grant, be sure to check out the new YouTube video. Hey, look at that. He's plugging that's my video, right? I only see the link, right, Gear? Because I did make a video about Grant Williams, kind of giving my take on it, because I feel like people think I'm a Grant Williams hater, but I literally am, and I'm patting myself on the back here big time. I'm literally the definition of, I'll call it like I see it with Grant Williams. And as I've seen it, the guy's kind of stunk, so I'm going to say it. But if he starts turning it around, and we've jumped on these streams before, and I've been like, yeah, he played pretty well. He played good. Good job tonight. Give credit where it's due. But I call it like I see it, and I feel like that gets me tripped up into being a Grant Williams hater. But it's like, well, I'm only hating on Grant Williams then because he's stinking. Because I call it like it is with him. Greg says, I played FanDuel and played Jeff Teague hoping he would do something finally, and he got me -0.5. An assist and 2 turnovers. What is his deal? Oh, man. I mean, I feel like, I just kind of took a victory lap with Grant Williams because I've been doubting him for a while. I gotta eat my words on Jeff Teague. I've said right on these very airwaves saying, like, Jeff Teague's going to be good for this team. Nothing he's doing tells me that I'm going to be right. Like, it's not like early season. He's still gelling right now. Like, I mean, it's still technically early, but, this chunk of games into the year, dude, you should probably, 20% of the games are done. You should probably figure out how you are with this team, and he just hasn't had it so far. So I don't know. I think I'm going to have to be eating my words about Jeff Teague because I said that he was going to be unreal for this team. I thought he was going to be. I still think he could be, but that's just like a prayer now. I can't see how Jeff Teague really turns it around because I think he's had enough time to show what he is, and I think he is what he is. He might get you 15 to 20 some night, and all of a sudden you love him, but then there's nights where he's just off. Like, there was 2 plays in a row. It was later on in the game. He threw it, and it deflected out of bounds, right? And he just had this lazy pass, like lazy, deflected. Then he's taking the ball out of bounds, and it's like he's just telegraphing exactly where he's going with it. He's like following the guy he's going to pass when he goes like this, and the defender defending the inbounds pass, I feel like just went and deflected it because he just knew where Jeff Teague was going with it, with this looking down where he was passing it and then lazily chucking it. So I think that he's going to make me have to eat my words. I really do. Sports say we just need a better bench to help compete for championships. Yeah. I think you're a piece away on the bench because I think we're seeing that starting lineup's going to look good. And the fact that they have a mark, if they go with the big lineup, all healthy with Kemba, Tatum, and Brown, Tice, and Thompson starting, you do have guys like Marcus Smart off the bench, and then, Sembiozle, who's been pretty damn good this year, relatively speaking, and then you have Robert Williams, and it's like you've got these guys that can play, but imagine if you're like, oh yeah, we have Marcus Smart, we have Sembiozle, we have Robert Williams, and we also have PJ Tucker. Wouldn't that be nice? Or, oh man, one day, but you also have like Jared Allen, something like that. That would be amazing if you just had that one more piece. But I think a couple more pieces on the bench would be phenomenal. But it's a good problem to have, which I don't think Danny Ainge has addressed in the last couple of years. It's a good problem to have to be like, hey, we have the stars, we have the core, we just need like the missing puzzle pieces. That's better than being like, what team do we have? Like, who's our star? We need to find a star. We got to figure something out. Like, that's a big problem. That's how you don't get anywhere in the NBA. At least the Celtics have the hard part done. But they're not gonna. They can't contend and they can't compete for a championship against either the LAs or the Bucks or the Nets if they just can't go 10 deep if they need to. Sage saying, we need Taco for a championship. He's big. We have needed. Yeah, if he plays, I'll give you that. If Taco Fall gets to that point, he could be that sort of like oversized, dominant big. I just think it's tough to get him there. He's not there yet, and I do think, you do sacrifice like a Robert Williams if you do go Taco. That's just my opinion, though. St. Patrick saying, I remember there used to be the Al Horford comparisons for Grant. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything like Grant. I'm seeing a guy that fouls. I'm seeing a guy that can't pass, definitely can't shoot. But, hey, if he turns around, I'm going to come on here and say that I was wrong and I was doubting him. You know what I mean? That's fine. But, yeah, Grant Williams, Al Horford, and Al Horford's nothing special anymore, I feel like, since he left Boston. But that's still, he's not even sniffing his jockstrap. I'm going to skip just ahead just to get to some of the comments here. Michael says, our bench is going for so many threes at the end. I thought Matt LaFleur was coaching. They just wanted to... They want their numbers. When guys go in there like Tremont and whatnot, they want their numbers, which fine. But the minute you can jack shots, I'm all for that. Let the bench players go off. But the minute like the game gets eerily close, not even close, but sort of like, oh man, this is kind of slipping. We're not there yet, but it's kind of slipping. That's when you have to be like, all right, let's just close this one out. Greg says, dude, we kept James Young. Grant is not going anywhere unless it's in a trade. I wouldn't be surprised if Grant is not traded. Like Brad Stevens, I think, clearly likes Grant Williams because even when he stinks, it's like, okay, he'll sit, right? But I know Grant Williams is probably going to play a lot tomorrow. Grant Williams had did not play a couple weeks ago or maybe a month ago, whatever. I'm losing track now. And then all of a sudden the next game he just played. It's like Brad Stevens is trying to make Grant Williams good, which is like the gripe I've had with Celtics fans. They're always looking to try and make Grant Williams good, So I wouldn't doubt it if he plays tomorrow. He got junk minutes tonight, showed absolutely nothing, but Brad Stevens is probably going to say, okay, back to back, there's my excuse. Let's go. Let's run Grant Williams because he wants Grant Williams to be good too. So to your point here, Greg, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't even get rid of him, even if it's not in a trade. I think that they believe in the kid because he's been, such a good attitude guy, and they seem to like that. Michael says Grant is Sullinger. At least Sullinger stuck his ass into people and got some rebounds. I don't even see that out of Grant. Michael says Tice is best in the 4 spot. Best game is in the 4 spot. Yeah, it's I would agree with that too, based on his body and based on his ability. But he's said before he doesn't like the 4. But maybe now that they've kept running with it, I think he's more in on it clearly because he's had a couple now. 17, I think he had 23 the other night too. He's had a few good nights. So maybe playing that 4 spot is good for him. Maybe he's gonna come around on it. Nate says, I told y'all Carson was worth something. I mean, not for nothing, but him going out there and dropping 18 is definitely a trade piece too, And I've said it before. If he was in Sacramento or maybe a Phoenix or something like that, I think Carson Edwards could be pretty good. I don't know about 18 points per night, but he is a rhythm guy, and it's tough for him to get in a rhythm unless he gets extended run. He played near 20 minutes tonight, dropped 18 points. And he probably knew with Pritchard out and Teague sucking, he was probably like, I can feel comfortable here. I don't have to worry about, stepping on anyone's toes or missing a shot and getting benched. I think he probably felt pretty confident, and then look what happens when he's playing confident. That's the type of guy he is. We should know that as Celtics fans, that's the type of player Carson Edwards is. And if he's going to do that type of stuff, if he's going to get to the point where he's scoring, he's got to get his confidence up. And, nights like this where he has the opportunity, he's going to be confident. Wangi says, has Drummond always been that bad, or have I missed something? Now, we talked about Drummond before, and there's a lot of give me Drummond people in the chat. I think I think that was a bad game for by the way. So I don't think Drummond's that bad. I think Drummond's an absolute beast. I just wonder if the price is worth getting him. I wonder if you'd pay a similar price, then you'd be getting, a better superstar. I don't want to, beat a dead horse because we've said it before. But Drummond to me is I would take on the team, but I'm not actively seeking out oh man, we got to get Drummond. Because he's good. He's a beast. He can drop, 30 games, it seems. But I think, he's not the one you put all your chips into. I think you get him. I don't know if it necessarily makes him or makes us an immediate finals contender. But he's definitely not as bad as we saw tonight. 11 points, 5 rebounds from him in 17 minutes, minus 29. Yeah, that's definitely not him. St. Patrick says, true, C's fans forget that Jays aren't even on the wrong side of 20, but balling out. They're so far from their prime, yet they're doing this. And a lot of guys in the league are. Maybe the primes of players in the league are shifting, younger, I guess, because we see a lot of guys in the league absolutely balling. But it's true, man. Like these two, if we go by, 27 to 29 is a player's prime, we got like 3-4 years for these guys. Greg says you could play Taco at center and have Tice, Thompson, or Robert at forward for a big lineup with the rest of those guys or the rest of the guys are scorers. I mean, that'd be an experiment to throw out there, but if you don't have like Jaylen and Jason out there or Kemba and one of those guys, then I think that's the only way to do it, which I'm not saying you said you can't because I think you can. But you play, I'll say this. You play Taco Fall and Robert Williams on the floor at the same time, you're begging for some sort of mental mistakes where someone's not in the right position. But, hey, who am I to say that? I would love to see it. I love both those guys, and maybe that's the way they do it, but that is a big lineup. Greg saying, I hated the Jaylen Brown contract because I never thought he would do this, and I'm sorry for that. But that's fine. Like, no one knew Jaylen was doing this. You had to be like a Jaylen like stan or something. Because I said, I think on the Unleashed podcast, I was like, I don't hate the contract, but I do want to. And I think that this is a great point now looking back on it. When they gave Jaylen Brown, and I'm just going to rehash that podcast, I guess, because it was a good episode. When they gave Jaylen Brown that contract, they were gambling on it. There's no doubt about that. You can't look at what Jaylen did before the contract and say, oh my God, he's worth this money, like we've done with Tatum, right? All of a sudden, you give Tatum this contract, but he kind of has already lived up to it in a sense. So I said Danny Ainge is gambling on it, but that doesn't mean it's a bad contract because you win some bets. You know what I mean? So the fact that they gambled on that Jaylen Brown contract, what it really came down to was you're pretty much saying, okay, we've seen flashes of this guy. He's done so much. We don't know exactly why we're paying him, but he's shown so many parts of his game that have the ability to take off. So comparing it to Tatum, it's like you paid Tatum. Why? Because he's a transcendent, just get the ball in the hoop guy, scorer, absolute superstar scorer. Jaylen Brown, you paid and still are just playing out there as you go do whatever you're going to do. Because every time someone said, Jaylen Brown, you're not a good passer, he improves his passing. Jaylen, you can't score. He all of a sudden starts scoring. Or you go to the rim too hard. Remember when Jaylen Brown only tried to dunk on people and would miss every time? Or when it would be like a 5-on-1 fast break and Jaylen Brown would somehow mess it up. We don't see any of that anymore. I'm not talking he's gotten better at these things. He's literally erased them from his game. You realize that? You know how hard that is to be like an NBA player and the way you've played, all of a sudden you're just like, no, I'm not even going to do that anymore. Jaylen Brown as a rookie, and maybe I would say as a rookie mostly, would get the ball when he's at the hoop and try and just posterize a guy and just miss because how often do you do that? Now he gets to the hoop and sort of is so controlled, draws a foul, lays it off the glass. Like, he's left so many things absolutely in the past, not even like showing any resemblance of, I still have those problems. It's crazy. So back to the contract thing, it's like they gambled on Jaylen Brown and it paid off. I don't blame anyone for saying he wasn't worth the money at the time because that was correct. You didn't pay Jaylen Brown based on what he did. You were paying him based on what he was going to do, which is the case with every contract, obviously. But using Tatum again as the example, you know why you paid Tatum. You're just hoping. You're hoping what you think is going to happen. They had no clue what was going to happen with Jaylen Brown. They were just saying, all right, man, just keep getting better at this, at that, at that, at that. Just keep doing you because you've shown already improvement so much. I'm not going to lie. No clue if that rant even made sense. Ryan says, Jaylen Brown's 33 points, the most in NBA history under 20 minutes. Yeah, we talked about it. It's crazy. And Paul George was only 4 points more than him in 1 minute, I think, as the 20-point mark was 37 points. Wong says, even Brad showed some activity off the bench tonight. LOL. I mean, if it's... I'm not giving Brad credit on this one. It's easy to coach when you're up by 30 points all game. You know what I mean? He waves one time. We're like, oh, he's doing his job. I want to see when they're losing a game, Brad Stevens get into someone or sort of rip someone apart or go at a ref for missing a call. I want to see how Brad Stevens coaches when they're losing. Give me that. And then we could talk. Gear says, I'd rather see Mien Mater over Waters. Yeah. Guys, we talked about Waters, so I don't want to like rag on Tremont Waters. He's not a buster, and Tremont Waters is pretty much what you got. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you didn't. I mean, maybe you did reach for him, but it's not like a bust. You can call a lottery pick a bust, But obviously, we would rather some other guys over Waters. That's fair. Like I agree with you, but I don't know. I was gonna say, do you think he would be a part of our rotation? Yeah, Mater, but who even knows? Gear says Grant had a Yabusele performance tonight. Yeah, except he didn't hit like 1-3 and do the bow and arrow. At least Yabusele was in there. He would shoot a 3, and if he made one, he'd bring the house down. Now it's like even Grant Williams makes a 3, and I'm almost just like, great. Now people are gonna say you're good for a week again. Nate says, I've always been super high on Jaylen Brown, and now I rub it in all the homies' faces. Yeah. It's if you've been a Jaylen like absolute believer, because I wasn't I've always liked Jaylen Brown, right? But I wasn't like a Jaylen Brown, like I said, like an absolute super fan, like, oh my God, this is the best contract ever. Now I'm saying that. But if you were one of those people, because there's plenty of them, it's like this guy is proving there's an argument that he's the best player in the Celtics, at least the most consistent, but there's an argument to be made. He's putting himself in that category. His stats are right there with Tatum's, if not better, actually. So it's like, and I don't know if that's going to continue. Like, obviously, like, time winding down, I think we all still want Tatum taking the shot. But you can make the argument that Jaylen Brown's the best player in the Celtics right now. Wangi says it's simple. JB got rid of the high top. Gear says IDK, it's just me, but at the end it looks like Grant was ball hogging. So I agree with you but I think that's also me, and I hope I'm not getting in your heads thinking this too. But when Grant Williams now touches the ball, I'm looking for him to just mess up because I'm like, I can't stand him playing anymore. So it's like he dribbles twice, and I'm like, dude, pass the ball, you're hogging it. So I don't know. I don't know if maybe these streams are brainwashing you, PJ. Wangi says, at least Yabu dabbed. That's true. At least we got something. You just have Grant Williams look at refs like he's better. I keep saying that. It's not even like fair to Grant because I don't even think he does it that much. But he does. He just gives me that I think I'm better than I am vibe. Like he literally jumped and did an up and down travel and then smirked down the court like, it's like, dude, no, you didn't foul. You literally just tested your vertical leap in the middle of an NBA game with the ball in your hands. So your 4'1" frame had a 6-inch vertical leap and they called it a travel. Sorry, pal. But on that note, guys, I think we are going to close down the stream. Thank you much for tuning in. If you're a Patriots fan, I know not everyone's a Celtics and Patriots fan at this, it's just, you could just be a Celtics fan, but if you are a Patriots fan, hopefully you do enjoy Tom going to the Super Bowl. That was good to watch today. I'm repping a little Pat's gear right now, but yeah, good Celtics win. We'll catch you back here tomorrow against the Bulls, a back-to-back game. Let's start getting some wins in a row here. No more of that. I am working. I got to figure out some sort of a victory soundbite. But anyways, guys, thank you much for tuning in. And yeah, I like going live after wins. I feel like the stress is off. My day's not ruined. But we'll catch you guys in the next stream, and that is tomorrow. Peace out.